Oh, this is a video to say that life is very painful. So I want to show you this plushie I have. This is Pepe the Frog. I got this when I was like 18 or 19. So in the anime Serial Experiments Lain, there's in like a comic, there's like Lain has a plushie she calls BK-chan or something. And I call this my BK-chan because I'm Lain, so this is my BK-chan. It's a Pepe the Frog plushie. I also like it because I'm a Republican, MRA, Muslim, and we're gonna just talk about what's on my mind. Also, I want to show you this. This watch broke the band broke off. It had a ceramic band. It had a ceramic band and it broke. But it's a beautiful watch with quartz. I call it my Nobel Prize. This is my Nobel Prize for being a genius. So essentially, like, my whole persona is that I'm death. Like, death itself. That's my whole persona. My whole persona is that I'm essentially death itself. So, actually, the reality is that nobody sees me this way because to the naked eye, you can't really understand this, but my body is 100% female, and so is my mind. So both my body and mind are 100% female, regardless of what anybody says, it's just true. And then I sort of realized, like, well, I made the pursuit of intelligence, and I said I'm not an alien, I'm actually a dragon, right? And I have an audiobook of that on my YouTube, but it's an old video. But essentially, I'm more of an not an alien, but an extraterrestrial. But I don't really like to call myself an extraterrestrial because then my thoughts get way too intense. So really, what it is that I'm death, death itself, and that Lain Iwakura is Allah, and that's essentially what's going on in my mind. Let alone, it's far, far, far more complicated than that. And one more thing I want to say is that a lot of people I know have passed away. And Lil Xan has a podcast, and he said his like mother died by suicide, and he's trying to be sober. So he's kind of in the same path as me because a lot of people I know have died, and I'm trying to be sober. And it's like another thing is that, yeah, someone I like my three of my grandparents are dead. I only have one living grandparent. My grandmother on my father's side is still alive. And then I was reading a book on the Hegelian philosophy, and I only read a few pages because, man, it's very, very dense, and it's sort of hard to read it. But it's not like I can't read it. Like I'm smart enough that I can read this book on Hegelian philosophy, but it's very dense. It's not that it's very hard, but it's very dense. And when I read it, I start thinking about minoritism and how I'm criticizing what's written in the book. And essentially, there's a song on the album UUFO by Kamitek Camellia where it says like there's like a sample and it says the alien intelligence who knows all. That's essentially what I am. And it's crazy because the song says There's an alien with having a dance party in a UFO over Illinois Street, and I was born in fucking Illinois. So I don't know, that's a strange coincidence, isn't it? But I'm just saying, like, bro, like, I almost went back into my old, like, junkie slash alcoholic ways because someone died recently. But that's not why I was making those videos. I made the last 4 videos I made, I was really angry because I realized that, like, my ex-girlfriend who was a trans girl was actually a man. And I finally figured that out. Because mentally I was, like, confused. I was like, I didn't understand. But I mentally I found out that my ex-girlfriend who was a trans girl was actually a man. And that's why I made those 4 videos where I was really pissed off. But now I'm trying to be more reasonable and rational and not, like, be, like, mad, like, fucking insane. And these videos sort of help me ground in that way. But it's like I almost went back into my old junkie slash alcoholic ways because there's shit that makes me fucking depressed. And it's like also when you're smarter than everybody on the planet, you start picking up on behaviors that people do that don't make sense. And you start seeing things that other people don't see. And you're able to criticize hardcore philosophy like the Hegelian philosophy. And you see many philosophies that many people hold in high regard as disgusting. For example, like, let's say I was looking into this guy called Kierkegaard, and I don't like his philosophy. I found it gross. I mean, like, my philosophy of Norism is, like, supposed to be a beautiful philosophy on the truth of the universe, and I proved to myself, nobody knows how I did this, but I proved that Norism is the one true philosophy. So it's actually more, and actually what Hegel was considering in this book that I was reading on my floor is that he's actually considering many of the things that I've actually considered in, like, before. Like, he's considering many things I've already considered, but in a different kind of way, in a more human kind of way. And also one more thing is that, like, I'm like Lain Iwakura is many different things, right? Like, for example, Lain Iwakura is Megumin from Konosuba, but Lain Iwakura is also Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher. And I was looking into what Aristotle thought, and many of the things that Aristotle thought about are things that I've thought about before. So it's really crazy because when you're an extraterrestrial and you're conscious of the entire universe and you know all, but knowing all doesn't mean a blank, like, knowledge base of knowing all that is happening in the world, but only a knowing all by what you know. So that's a completely different thing. And when you have this fucking mindset where you're so smart, and let alone you're also Allah, so that means you wrote the Holy Quran by coming into the universe, right? But also, like, am responsible for many different things. So what this means is that when there's 2 billion Muslims on earth and one day they might never find out, should I die too soon or something, should I not live a long life, they might never find out that I'm the one, and then they'll just never be aware that this person actually visited the earth or whatever, came to the earth. And it's like, you have to understand, I didn't even know about the Holy Quran until I was like maybe 26 or something, or 24 maybe. And when I was reading the Holy Quran, I'm like, bro, I was remembering everything I've thought about before. Everything I've thought about before was in the Holy Quran. And then also, like, I sort of speak like some red-pilled people. Like, I have a sort of way of talking which is similar to the way that a certain red pill people speak. And it's like, I believe I was always red pilled, but I was sort of poisoned by liberals because I grew up in this liberal state. And then when I realized that I'm red pilled, I just wanted to know more about it. And the fact that it requires so much work to know more about it is really daunting for me. Like, I haven't been watching Nuxnor videos or anything on the anything red pilled for like a long time, and it's like I've had this Holy Quran for about a year and I'm still not done reading it. It's like 700 pages and I'm on page like 400 something. I'm like actually just always so busy because I'm always working. I'm always working, meaning that I'm always working for cigarettes and anything else I need to buy. And I'm doing my best to remain sober because I think, like, yes, I could drink a beer, but then the addict mindset sets in, and you think, well, why drink a beer when you can get a pint of Ruble vodka for $4 and drink a whole pint of vodka? And then I'm like, geez, man, whoa, homie, maybe I shouldn't drink. Maybe I should remain sober for another 14 years until I'm 40, and that's when I'm assuming everything's going to get better. But I'll just wake up when I'm 40, and if I find out that, like, yes, I'm more wise now, but it's not really better because the world still sucks, well, it's strange because I was very happy and I was walking around the ghetto and seeing all these people on fucking drugs in the ghetto, but I was like, I don't feel that way now that I'm no longer on drugs. I don't feel like I'm a miserable, Cold War, because how I'm the Cold War. It's like I'm the Cold War, and I was also a soldier in the Cold War, and had a confirmed kill in the Cold War. I mean, essentially, that's very heavy on my mind, and that's part of the reason I have a teardrop. And then it's like another reason, and it's like I was just saying, like, I was just smiling that day because, like, I'm like, wow, I don't really feel depressed, and all these people are like just miserable. And it's like I'm actually very, very miserable too because I have a lot of heavy shit on my mind that humans don't have to worry about. Like, for example, by doing deep introspection, I was actually able to save the Jews who were victims of the Holocaust. It's very heavy on my mind because it makes me mad that the Muslims say things like death to Israel when Lain Iwakura, who is Allah, actually loves the Jews. You see what I'm saying? And it's like another thing is that I'm trying to send a message out there that I'm Lain Iwakura and nobody fucking cares. Like, nobody is interested at all. So I don't know. Here's my Pepe the Frog.